I am live right now. Good. Okay. All right. As I said, we're going to be talking about living diet-free, and this is actually week 3. So for the first week, you were supposed to decide when you were going to start the living diet-free thing. I don't know why my thing isn't. I'm supposed to be adding something. Hold on one second. That's okay. All right. So anyway, the first week you were supposed to be deciding when you were going to start this program, get your goal weight in order, and figure out what your in 8 weeks, which is your target goal week, how much you would have lost. So this is actually week 3. And then last week we talked about how to do your measurements. So this week we're going to talk about fat-burning meals, and Robert Ferguson, of which this group is based on his philosophy for diet-free life, came up with 3 different ratios or 3 different fat-burning meal types that you could use that would help you lose weight. All right, so hold on one second here to make sure things are kind of like discombobulated a little bit. I apologize for the hey. We're going to get through it just fine. Okay, I got the right there. Okay, we're good with it. I was trying to install the thing that comes across the front if you're hanging out with me that says my name and all that stuff, but for some reason it's not doing it right. And of course it never does it right when you want to, but that's okay. I'll take care of that next time. We'll get it all together, right? Okay, so we're talking about how to create a fat-burning meal. Now, a fat-burning meal is just that. It allows you to eat kind of what you want, but you will actually be able to keep burning fat while you're eating. Isn't that pretty cool? So, and remember we said that we were talking about going 8 weeks at a time. So this first 8 weeks is known kind of like as the induction period, where you're actually resetting your metabolism and you're actually heightening your awareness and becoming a label detective. Remember, you got to look at everything that you eat. And when you're in the store, when you're getting ready to purchase something, look at the label and see what it says. What is in this stuff that I'm getting ready to eat and put in my body? And when you're going out to a restaurant, you can see, ask them how they're preparing the food, and so that you know what's in there. So Robert has this list for the first 21 days that you need to follow, and you need to choose to avoid the following for 21 days. Now, if you do this, this will greatly jumpstart your metabolism, jumpstart your program, so that you will be able to lose the weight that you want and hit that goal weight. Now, I wanted to really quickly, because this is so important, a realistic fat loss per week range that you should be looking at, right? So if you are less than 135 pounds, you should be looking at a realistic fat loss per week for you is 1 pound per week. If you are between 135 and 159.9 pounds, then 1.5 pounds per week is what you need to be looking at realistically. If you are between 160 and 184.9, 2 pounds per week. If you are between 185 and 109.9 pounds, then 2.5 pounds per week is what you need to realistically look at. And finally, if you are 200 pounds or more, then you can look at 3 pounds per week as a realistic fat loss for you to achieve each week. So there you have it. Make sure you keep that in mind. Now, the first 21 days, we want you to avoid sugar that is listed in the first through the 4th ingredient on the label. So you really do have to become a label detective. You have to turn the box around or the can around or the whatever you're doing around and look at the label. And if you're eating fresh stuff, well, hooray for you. So you need to go on to dietfreelife.com. Up in the top right-hand corner, there is a food index, so put that food in there, and it will tell you what kind of fat-burning food it is, how much fat-burning you can get from it. So remember, number 1, sugar that is listed in the 1st through the 4th ingredient on the label, and that's pretty easy. If it's the 1st ingredient on the label, you definitely don't want it. So you need to look at those words that are there on the label and make sure you're eating the right stuff. The next thing is white and enriched wheat flours. If it says enriched wheat flour, then leave it alone. If it's white flour, then leave it alone. Third thing is deep fried and most breaded foods. Now, of course, when we're looking at trying to lose weight, we want to stay away from fried foods anyway. So deep fried foods and most breaded foods, you know, that's like what, half of the menu in the United States right now, deep fried and breaded stuff. So kind of, and this, we're just talking about the first 21 days, so just stay away from that. You won't believe how much energy you're going to have, how much better you're going to feel, and how much more aware you're going to be after you start doing this. And you need to stay away from added salt or sodium in your foods and alcoholic beverages. Just first 21 days now. That's all you need to do. After that, you know, we're going to talk about what you can do the next step. Okay, let's go over and break that down a little bit more. And we'll talk about the fat-burning meal at the end of this. Let me keep track of my time. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, you can always reach me at OptimumBodySculpting.com. And if you go to the Contact Us page, it'll tell you every way you can get in touch with me, and that is through Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, LinkedIn, give me a message, shoot me a message through the website, whatever. And now Google+, so you can find me there. So, the sugar that is listed in the first through the fourth ingredient on the label, avoid that. Now, Robert has lined out a dirty dozen that he likes to call it. And if the ingredients, one of these ingredients are in the label, then they're part of this dirty dozen, and you need to put that food down and choose something else. Now, alternatives are encouraged and include ingredients such as brown rice syrup, honey, fruit, evaporated cane juice, stevia, Splenda, and monk fruit. Now, the following, this is the dirty dozen that you definitely want to look for. Okay? Number 1 is dextrose. Number 2 is brown sugar. Remember I said brown rice syrup is okay, but brown sugar, don't want you to have that. Number 3 is sucrose, which is really sugar. Number 4 is maltose. Number 5 is malt syrup. Number 6 is cornstarch. Number 7, maltol syrup. Number 8 is maltol. Number 9 is modified cornstarch. Number 10 is high fructose corn syrup, which you just really need to stay away from that anyway. And number 11 is maple syrup. And finally, the last of the dirty dozen is corn syrup. Okay, again, dextrose, brown sugar, sucrose, maltose, malt syrup, cornstarch, maltol syrup, maltol, modified cornstarch, high fructose corn syrup, maple syrup, and corn syrup. If any of those 12 things are the first of the first 4 ingredients in something that you're about to pick up and purchase or eat, then you need to put that down and choose something else. Okay, the second thing that you need to avoid is white and enriched wheat flours. Now, choose alternative to foods and products that have white and enriched wheat flour in the first 4 ingredients. This includes bleached and unbleached flours. Now, there is an exception, and that's semolina and durum flour. You can have those. Okay, the next thing that you're going to avoid in this first 21 days. Now, granted, this is part of it. So if you, we're kind of 3 weeks in. This is the 3rd week of this. And if you are interested in being coached in this one-on-one for your first 21 days, I'm sorry, I can't talk, for your first 21 days being coached by me on this, you can be a part of the Pay It Forward Fat Loss Program. Now, it's absolutely free, and all you do is drop me an email saying, Carol, I want to be a part of this program. I want to be coached by you. And basically, it means that we're going to be in contact with each other every day for 21 days. Now, I have not started it yet. I'm waiting to get, I'm going to include 5 people, and you will actually get a Pay It Forward Fat Loss program guideline book and a pocket book to keep, a pocket guide to keep with you so that you'll know what you need to do. So I won't be starting that probably, haven't decided yet because I got to dedicate 21 days exceptionally to this. So for right now, we're going to go through the phases to help you with this, okay? So we're on the flour. Remember, if it says anything about white or enriched wheat flour in the first 4 ingredients, please choose something else. Now let's go on to fried and breaded. Fried is any food that has been submerged in oil. Pretty self-explanatory. You got to put it in oil to cook it. You don't need to eat it in the first 21 days. Most but not all breaded food is fried. There are exceptions. In place of fried food, you're encouraged to choose baked, broiled, boiled, grilled, steamed, and stir fry. Remember, 21 days of induction. I promise you. You know, it takes you about 21. They say 21 days makes a habit. So that's about 3 weeks. So if you can do this for about 3 weeks, then you're going to be A-okay, and you're going to be ready to move forward in that next process, right? Now, with your label detective hat in place, avoid products that list the following in their ingredients: hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated oils, fractionated oils, vegetable shortening, this is the big one, interestearified fats, and lard. If any of those are in the first 4 ingredients, please choose something else. So just put it down and go on. Okay, the next thing they want you to avoid in the first 21 days is salt. Avoid adding salt to any of your food during the first 21 days. We are not saying to avoid salt altogether. Most food and products yield a certain amount of sodium anyway. But with your label detective hat in place, make sure your fat-burning meals do not exceed 700 milligrams of sodium in a serving, 350 for a snack. This pertains primarily to eating out and frozen entrees where the nutritional facts are available. So that means you have to look at the thing. That means you have to turn around and look at the label, right? So 700 milligrams of sodium in a serving for a fat-burning meal and 350 for a snack. Alcohol. Woo-hoo. It may be hard for some of you, especially us that need some wine. I love wine. But for 21 days, you're going to put it down. Remember, you want to do this. You want to lose weight. You want to get your body set to lose weight, right? So this is the way you're going to do it. Now, during the first 21 days, choose alternatives to alcohol. Part of the 21-day metabolism jumpstart is to shock your system or your palate, and after gaining significant momentum by choosing alternatives to certain flours, sugars, etc., you will be better positioned to maximize the experience. Okay? So those are the things that you need to avoid in the first 21 days. Remember, sugar, white and enriched wheat flours, deep fried and most breaded foods, added salt or sodium, and alcoholic beverages. Avoid those within the first 21 days. And if you see sugar listed in the first 4 ingredients or white and enriched wheat flours in the first 4 ingredients, please put that down and do something else. Choose something else. Now, let me tell you, we were talking about fat-burning meals. Now, Robert came up with the system. He has 3 types of fat-burning meals that you can create, and it's a ratio, and they're in a ratio thing. So that's the name of them: a ratio 1 to 1 to 1, a ratio 1 to 3, or ratio 1 to 1. Now let me explain that, what that means, what those numbers are. How he broke it down is your meals are consistent of a protein, a fast carb, and a slow carb. So the ratio 1 to 1 to 1 means 1 protein, 1 fast carb, and 1 slow carb. That's how the foods are broken down. So a ratio 1 to 3 is 1 protein and 3 slow carbs. And then finally, the ratio 1 to 1 is 1 protein and 1 fast carb. So, you know, you might say, wow, that sounds good. What does that mean? What is a protein? What is a slow carb? What is a fast carb? Well, proteins basically are usually anything that used to kind of walk around on this earth, and now it has been killed, slaughtered, or otherwise prepared for us to eat. They're usually animals, but there are proteins in some other foods like beans and things like that. So let me give you an example of some protein sources. All right, chicken breasts, egg whites, ground chicken, ground turkey, halibut, turkey breast, really, you know, beef, chicken, steak, fish, pork, all those are protein sources. Now he has some of them are leaner than others. For instance, some less lean sources of protein would be ribeye beef, prime rib, ground pork, turkey thigh, duck, and corned beef. Those are less lean sources. So really lean protein sources, like I said, chicken breast. Lean means that have like fat on it. So that's what we want for you. And there are different sizes for men and women, but basically, if you take a lean protein source, is no thicker than your hand. And if I hold my hand up like this, let me make sure that I hold it up so you can see it. Now from the palm to the middle of your fingers, that's about how much or how big a serving of protein you should have. So if I put that like that in the video, just look at your hand, hold it up, and look at the bottom part of your finger down to the bottom of your palm. That's about the size of a serving of protein. And it should be, if you turn your hand sideways, it should be no thicker than your hand. So that's a serving of protein. Now, less lean meats, the ones that we're talking about, the ribeye steak, ground pork, turkey, and thigh, things like that, you have to come down to the bottom where your fingers actually touch your palm. That whole part in there, just the basic palm of your hand, that is the size of your protein right there. And again, it's not thicker than your hand. Now, the biggest thing that I've seen with people when they try to figure out, fast-burning carbs, slow-burning carbs, it's been the carbs. Carbs all over has been a problem for people because, we have all these things of, should I be eating low carbs? Should I be eating no carbs? Should I be eating this carbs? Everybody's all confused. But when it comes to carbohydrates, one of the key factors in keeping your blood sugar level from spiking too high is to eat carbs in the proper combinations and quantities, not to stop eating carbs altogether. That's why I love Robert Ferguson when he came up with this, because he doesn't advocate, giving up foods. He loves for you to eat all the foods that you want. So, eat what you want, feel good, lose weight, look great. That's what we're all about. So that's why I align myself with him. Now, if we're talking about, remember, not stopping eating carbs altogether, but eating them in the right combination. This makes it easier for you to maximize your metabolism and fat loss. Now, when the food is not packaged or does not provide a calorie count, use the guidelines provided in the charts. And the charts or the directory can be found on dietfreelife.com. Up in the top right-hand corner, all you have to do is put your food in there, and it will come up and tell you how much protein, whether it's fast carb or slow carb or whatever. So let me give you an example of some fast carbs. Because remember, we're talking about creating a fat-burning meal. And right now we're talking about a 1 protein, 1 fast carb, and 1 slow carb that can be on your plate. Let me give an example of a protein, fast carb, and a slow carb. Let's say your protein is chicken breast, your fast carb is acorn squash, and your slow carb is black beans. That's a pretty good meal, isn't it? Okay. Another example would be ground turkey for your protein, red potato for your fast carb, and carrots for your slow carb. So you got a good old American meal there. You got meat, you have the potato, and you have the carrot. So you have color on your plate. Another example, if you, of protein would be tofu. If you like tofu, I like some of it. It just depends on what it is. Tofu, white rice for the fast carb. Slow carb would be tomato. So we're talking about a 1 to 1 to 1. So 1 protein, 1 fast carb, and 1 slow carb. Now, a ratio of 1 to 3 will be 1 protein and 3 slow carbs. Let's see what the difference is. Fats and condiments are optional, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So let's say you want your protein to be a pork chop. Ooh, who doesn't love pork chops? And 1 slow carb would be green peas. And then how about some beets and greens, and then broccoli. So those are all 3 of those are slow carbs. Another example would be ground chicken. And your 3 slow carbs would be snap peas, mustard greens, and collard greens. Okay, how about some halibut? Ooh, I love halibut. Halibut, slow carb Swiss chard, pinto beans, and kale. Pretty good food, huh? I mean, you're not really missing out on anything. And the final one, ratio of 1 to 1, would be 1 protein and 1 fast carb, okay? Protein would be eggs, and then your fast carb can be sliced bread. So you're not really missing out on anything in your breakfast. How about that? I love eggs and bread. Pretty cool. All right, protein, ground beef, and then fast carb would be spaghetti. And then the fats and the condiments are our option. We're going to talk about that. And finally, an example would be protein steak, fast carb potato. Notice I didn't say steak, potato, rolls. I said steak and potato. So let me go through. I want to list out some more examples of fast carbs, because remember, you can choose. And next time, what we're going to do next week is we're going to actually create some fat burning meals, okay? And if you're listening to this, if you have not had a chance to join me in the Hangout or join me online, whatever, I would like you to create some fat burning meals of your own and send me the examples, and we'll talk about them, okay? So it should be pretty simple. Just remember, go to dietfreelife.com, go to the top right, and there's an index of the food that you can put the food in that you're thinking about eating, and it'll come up and tell you whether it's a protein, fast carb, slow carb, how much you need to eat of it. It'll tell you everything. So I want you to get used to creating your fat-burning meals, okay? Whether you're going to eat it in a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, which is 1 protein, 1 fast carb, 1 slow carb, or you're going to eat it in a ratio of 1-to-3, which is 1 protein and 3 slow carbs, or a ratio of 1-to-1, which is 1 protein and 1 fast carb. So let's talk about some fast carb examples. Cool. We are looking really, really good. All right, fast carbs. 1 banana, and it's a little different for men and women. Let me see. For banana, it will be the same. 1 whole banana is a fast carb. Another one is corn kernels. Now, for women, it will be a 1/2 cup, and for men, it will be 2/3 cup. Corn tortilla, 4 of those is a serving. Grits, 1 cup for women, but for men, it's 1 1/4 cup. Now, I love some grits, so I'm glad that Robert has this in here, because I love grits. I'm a Southern girl, you know. Pasta, 1 cup for women, and 1 1/4 cup for men. Potato would be the size of your fist, so that is a relatively small potato. I'm holding my fist up there so you can see. So it's not that big, gigantic potato. If you buy a big, gigantic one, you just need to cut it in half and don't eat all of it, right? All right, so it would be the size of your fist for both men and women. Rice, all kinds of rice. A 1/2 cup for women would be your serving, and 2/3 of a cup for men. And then waffles, oh, wow, you're going to like this. Now, these are the smaller waffles, I'm thinking, not the ones that you go to Waffle House and get those big, huge ones, like the Belgian ones that are falling off the plate. We're talking about like maybe some Eggo-sized waffles, smaller ones, are the ones that you could make at your own home. So serving for women and men would be 2 waffles. Those are all examples of fast carbs. Bananas, corn kernels, corn tortillas, grits, pasta, potato, rice, all kinds of rice, and waffles. Those are fast carbs. Okay, slow carbs, so you can get an example of what's going on with slow carbs. Beans, except soy. A 1/2 cup for women, 2/3 cup for men. Bell pepper, 1 cup for women, 1 1/4 cup for men. Blueberries, 1 cup for women, 1 1/4 cup. Now all these that I'm saying, bell pepper, blueberries, broccoli, carrots, are all the servings of 1 cup for women and 1 1/4 cup for men. And then carrots, grapefruit, a whole grapefruit, a medium grapefruit is the serving for a woman, and a large grapefruit is the serving for a man. Kale, 1 cup for women, 1 1/4 cup for men. And peas, all type of peas, a 1/2 cup for women and 2/3 cup for men. Okay, now we haven't talked about the fats and the condiments. So this is very important. This is another place where people sometimes get confused. When making a fat-burning meal, feel free to add flavor to it with condiments and fats such as full-fat cheeses, butter, dressing, sauces, and the oil you cook with. The key when making a fat-burning meal is to keep your fat serving to no more than 120 calories. Also, it's important to note that not all condiments are fat, but fat is indeed considered a condiment. Remember, not all condiments are fat, but fat is indeed considered a condiment. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that. Okay, now let me just run through some fats and condiments really quickly because we're coming down to the end. I want to make sure that you all are, what's happening with my video part is acting up today, but that's okay. We'll straighten it out. Okay, an example of fats would be oils, avocado, butter or ghee, cheese, cream cheese, mayonnaise, nuts, peanut butter. Remember, you want to keep it to no more than 120 calories, okay? And then condiments, barbecue sauce, gravy, pesto, steak sauce. Oh, look at all this good stuff you can eat, man. Sugar-free syrup, sweet relish, tartar sauce, tomato sauce, okay? And you can eat all you want raw carbs. Now, when making a fat-burning meal, the goal is to ensure you have a minimum of 30 grams of carbohydrates. Not all carbs are created equal, and when making a fat-burning meal, the eat all you want raw vegetables can be added to help with satiety and volume. Now, I've always said vegetables you can just eat as much as you want. So we're kind of breaking that down a little bit. You can eat all the raw vegetables you want, and here's what you can eat. Eat all you want raw carbs consist of cabbage, cauliflower, celery, chili peppers, cucumbers, mushrooms, radishes, arugula, bok choy, endive, lettuce, radicchio, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, R-A-D-I-C-C-H-I-O, spinach, and watercress. All you want. Eat all you want of that. Those things will fill you up too. Now, as far as the mushrooms, you can eat button, crimini, and white. And as far as the chili peppers, green and red. And let me just really quickly, beverages, juices made from fast carbs, juices made from slow carbs, wine, soda or beer, soda, 0 calories, liquor, scotch, vodka, gin, 1.5 ounce of that, and milk, 8 ounces. So those, remember, this is the first 21 days, so those are just some things you can look forward to later. But in the first 21 days, you're going to stay away from sugar that is listed in the first to the fourth ingredient on the label, white and enriched wheat flour, stay away from deep fried and most breaded foods, added salt, or sodium and alcoholic beverages. Okay, cool. So that is our number 3 for today. Thank you for joining me. Now, number 4 will be Friday coming up, so I hope you're ready for it. So we're going to talk about examples of how to make some fat-burning meals, since that always trips people up. So thank you so much for joining me. Please join me on Tuesday. We'll have another great weight loss session talking about weight management. Happy 4th of July. Thanks for everything, and stay fit.